It's crazy. It's crazy how that switch goes off once you have kids,
dude.
Because beforehand you just like,
Bruh.
man, yeah. You just kind of moving.
Listen, now
it's like everything. You checking everything.
Dude, I'll stop in the middle and say, hey, come on, huddle up. That's my favorite word, huddle up. I see something I want to show y'all. Because a lot of times too, it's easy for me to teach my kids in real, like if I try to tell them something, they ain't hearing it. But if I can say, see this, and you see how this, like now they go, oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like, you got to give it to them. So sometimes you have to, it's been so many times they'll do something, they're getting a lot better at it. But my kids had a bad habit of going places and not dapping people up. Like you come in the barbershop, dap people up. And I'm like, nope. I said, we got to work on this. And so sometimes I would use other people and people be like, no, it's okay. But like, no, it's not. Like I need to, this is a teaching moment. So bear with me because I need them to learn. And so I'd be like, you come into a situation, you see other brothers, you dap, you say, what's up? And you look at them like I had to. So it was a lot of people on that journey. We're still on that journey, but it was a lot of people that was just, they fell victim because I'm like, nope, gotta teach them right now. Yeah.
I mean, because like you said, that's the best time. Because they can visualize it, they can hear it, versus us just telling them something and it goes in one ear and out the other. Right, I tell my daughter stuff from time to time, and then I have to say, all right, so what did I just tell you? Give it right back to me. And you said no. Sit down.
We ain't done. You ain't listening.
Yeah, we ain't finished yet.
Yeah, I mean, my kids, they have to be embarrassed a little bit. If I can embarrass them just enough so they can, as I tell them, because I ain't got no qualms, bro.
Give them a little sting.
Dude, we right there in Publix. I'm on their ass in Publix. People just walking by, man, look, get out of my business. Like, because to me, you don't see enough of that. I don't see enough of parents correcting their kids in public.
No.
It ain't enough of it. If more parents correct their kids in public, I'm telling you, this world would be a better place. Bro.
And folks think because I have daughters, I got 2 daughters and 1 son. So they think because I got daughters, oh, she got you wrapped around her finger. Yes and no.
Yeah.
Because I am one I would tell you, you're wrong right now.
Yeah.
Get it together.
Yeah.
No.
Got to.
I would tell you no so quick. And then stop that crying. That ain't gonna do nothing to me. You know what I mean?
Now, I'll be honest with you, dog.
Yeah.
If I had daughters.
If you had girls, you think?
I got a goddaughter, man. So it's great. Yeah, it's unfortunate circumstance as to how I got my goddaughter, but nonetheless, I have her. We lost her dad a year ago, and great man. And I'm absolutely honored that they asked my wife and I to be godparents. But I remember coming in and some stuff was on the kitchen table. That's my pet peeve, man. Don't leave stuff on the kitchen table. Don't leave stuff on the island. This is not this is everybody live here. It's a communal space. So I come in, I said, man, yo, who Chick-fil-A is this on the gun? I'm ready to snap on my kids. They was like, Eden. Oh, well, I got it. And my wife was like, you gonna have to figure out a way.
Yeah.
And it's hard, man.
It's hard. And as a man, what I've realized, and I've had partners tell me when you have a daughter, you have to understand that as a man, you can only do but so much when it comes to discipline.
True.
My wife, on the other hand, they need to know that you crazy.
Yeah.
They need to know that you will flip tables.
She's the enforcer.
Yeah. Daddy can only.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah. My voice is enough to make her be like, okay, daddy.
Yeah.
But that ain't gonna take it but so far.
Yeah.
Soon she gonna start trying that. So she needs to know that you'll flip tables in here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And my wife was like, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because our son, you ain't gonna be able to do but so much.
Yeah.
But me, let's go outside. Let's go talk real quick.
Yeah. That's where your wife gotta look at you and say, you know your daddy a little crazy.
Yeah.
He's a little crazy.
Yeah.
So be careful.
Absolutely.
That's true. I can remember when my mom kind of relinquished the discipline of my daddy. And she was, I can't do this. And then my daddy, it was a whole nother, it's like, he was good at it. Like, I think this nigga practiced. Like, the way I think he would go to work and they would be talking in the break room and then he would come home with some little stuff. Cause I remember, man, the last few whoopings he gave me, it wasn't no jumping around one night. He said, man, lay your ass across that bed. And grab the edge of the bed. And I'm just like, okay, this is new. This is different. Let's see what happens. And then I realized, I see what he wants to do here. This is he's just got a set target. Ain't no movement. Ain't no, I got 2 whoopings like that. I'm good. I'm straight.
Man, my stepdad, ex-Marine, 6'2", 220.
Say less.
And powerful voice. And he was like, when I whoop you, I ain't whooping no clothes because I bought those clothes. So he had to strip. Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Over strip. And then, like, his hand as a kid, his hands were so big, He could hold my ankles and my wrists with one hand and be whooping my ass with the other one.
Really?
Oh yeah.
That's amazing.
Let you know I only had a few whoopings.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's
oh man, just strong. Like
dude. That's That should be studied. That's,
damn. Yeah, man. Yeah, so I didn't.
Hell no, bro. I bet you.
Yeah, look, I'll probably get a whooping once a year, maybe.
Yeah, I bet.
And then like he was kind of in and out the door sometimes. So my mom, when I got 12, you know, feeling myself a little bit,
sure.
I ended up trying my mom's, and she asked me. I'm sitting there watching wrestling on Saturday.
Yeah.
She was like, "Hey, you need to go in there and wash those dishes." I'm like, "Yeah, mom, I'm gonna get to it." Minutes go by. I told you to get them dishes. Yes, ma'am, I'm gonna get it. Then the third time she come here yelling. So as I'm walking up under my breath, I say, "Man, what you do it?" Oh. I felt like a new man for all of 0.3 seconds.
Yeah.
I turned around, pow! Ooh. Caught me with a hook, and then she squared up. Yeah. When I say she squared up and her form was nice.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Yeah, talk that shit now, bitch." I was like, "Wait a minute, mom. What
are you doing?
Wait, I'm gonna
go wash these dishes.
I got it. I'm gonna get. That's the last time I ever tried my mom.
Oh God.
The last time I ever tried my mom's, man. Yeah. So.
Well, all right.
Well, you know.
It is.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
There we go.
We're gonna get into it, man. I just want to get to know RonReaco.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Let's
Talk
get
to
it.
you. I'm do the intro, and then we just gonna go from there, man. Have a good time.
I like it. I'm with it.
Yeah. Our guest today has been captivating film and television for decades. From being the drummer boy in Glory to the all love Tariq and Sister to the Reggie who was on Survivor's Remorse, man, cousin and what, manager?
Manager?
Yeah, you was the manager on the show, man. Yeah. He's done so much work from Fight Night to Divorced Sisters, and we have not even scratched the surface yet. With over 80 credits, this man only continues to get better and better. Actor, director, producer. The BackGround Lounge would love to welcome Mr. RonReaco Lee.
What's up?
What's happening,
What's
man?
happening, man?
How you doing,
First
bro?
of all, let me say, I like the lounge is lounging, bro.
Yeah.
Like, this is a vibe. This is a whole, like, y'all can't really, but like what I'm experiencing, this is dope, man. I'm proud of you. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. To be here. I really appreciate you coming through, man.
No problem.
Yeah, man. I have known you. I met you on the set of Let's Stay Together. Yeah, it was like 2011.
Yeah, easily.
A little while ago. And ever since then, man, you've been nothing but a solid cat, bro.
Yeah.
Like every time I see you, you speak. We always have good conversation.
Always.
I mean, sometimes people get,
not for you.
They can be a little different when you see them outside of work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you've never been that person. You've always been very consistent, just genuine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I appreciate that, man.
It's all good, man. It's all good. That's how my mom and daddy raised me, man.
Hey, man, good parents. Good parents.
Yes.
Yeah, so let's talk about you, man. Like, you were born in Decatur, Illinois.
I was.
Yeah.
I was born in Decatur, Illinois. And then we moved here. I actually started acting. I had one of the mothers that was like, my son is going to touch any and everything.
Okay.
And which really was a testament because, my mama gonna get mad when she sees it. But my mother was a young mother. I'll just say that. And I think some of the, just some of the things that she did, I just, mothers her age during that time, I just don't think they was doing it. But my mama had me in, I took dance. I took some intro to acting classes at the YMCA in Decatur, Illinois. My mama made me take a speech class. I'm really about to date myself. At Montgomery Ward. Like if you went into the Montgomery Ward in Decatur, Illinois, there was an area that people could rent out for, seminars, lectures, just a little classroom actually. And my mom made me take a speech class. And then really looking back on it, was kind of like one of those English like secondary languages. I was in there with a lot of non-English speaking people that were looking to kind of speak in a more articulate fashion. And my mom had me up there.
Really? You didn't have any type of speech impediment? None of that?
She just thought, for whatever reason, she just said, I'm going to put him in this class. And it was like maybe 2 or 3 week class. And I don't remember much about it. I just remember it was at Montgomery Ward. And I often think back, like, what was my, my mom clearly knew something that I didn't, and probably that my daddy didn't know. But it was just that she knew all of these things, the dance lessons, the speech lessons, and then the instruments that I touched as a kid, piano, drums, she just wanted me to touch it all. And to this day, even in church as a kid, there were things that the man who pretty much, he literally married me. He baptized me and all my cousins. I think he baptized my mom and my daddy. He ended up marrying me and my wife. That was the one thing I said, I want Reverend White to marry us. And so,
she's from the same place.
She's from Decatur, Illinois too, man. I've been knowing my wife since we was little. My mother-in-law used to babysit me and my wife and her older sister.
Really?
Yep.
Oh man,
dude. And believe it or not, I got memories of it. Like I used to, I got memories. Like as a kid, like it has blown my parents away. It blows my mother-in-law away. It's some of the stuff I can remember. But yeah.
Did you have a crush on him when you was a kid, even at that age?
No,
or did it kind of just grow into it?
No, we left Decatur when I was probably 9, and we moved here to Georgia. And so I would see Shayana, we call her Shay. I would see her every time pretty much we go back, because we would go back Thanksgiving, see my grandmother. I still got a bunch of relatives there. So I would see her, say hey, whatever. And but it wasn't, I ran into her in, I think it was 2005. Okay. And I was in Chicago. I was speaking at like on a panel of people wanting to get in the industry. My homegirl, AJ McGee. Angela McGee was doing this seminar, and I didn't even want to go, and only because I had to be back in Decatur for a family reunion that next weekend. Yeah. So I was literally flying from LA to Chicago, then back to LA, then back to Decatur. And I ran into her at a restaurant, and she tapped me on my shoulder, and she said, "You remember me?" And I hadn't seen her since I was about 18. I was probably late 20s.
Oh, look at God.
And and was like, and literally when I saw her, you'll know somebody, and then you like, and God was like, Shayana. And I was like, Shayana. And she was like, you remember me? I was like, yeah, come here, girl. And we hugged it, and I put her, man, look, she actually was there with a dude. And so I kind of slid her over to like a little area. And I said, let me get your number. I flipped my phone out because this was that day. And
she wasn't thinking about that day.
I had to slowly put her number in my phone because it was alphanumeric style. And I hit her up. I said, I'll be in Decatur like next weekend. What you doing? You ever get there? She said, yeah, my sister's still there with her kids. Yeah. And rest is history, dog.
Rest is history. That's beautiful, man.
Yeah, man. That's how it happened. We've been married coming on 16 years.
Yeah, y'all got married. Look, I'll be looking people up.
We talked about
y'all got married like in June.
But y'all got married. I
got married in June too.
Yeah, we talked about
June.
This,
we got married on Juneteenth. 2020.
Yeah.
Y'all 2010.
2010.
Yeah. So kind of parallel. Kind of sort.
Listen, man. It's a beautiful thing, man.
Yeah. So look, when you were growing up as a kid, you siblings?
No. I had my parents divorced, and so my dad remarried. So I have a younger brother who's 20. Miles is probably 21, 22.
Okay.
But I grew up an only child.
Okay.
I grew up only child. Yeah.
Got you. If your parents would have if they were in here right now, what type of child would they say RonReaco was growing up? Were you into stuff all the time?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, I was bad. I was bad as shit, but I wasn't like I wasn't bad. I can cuss, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
you
cool.
Good.
I was bad as shit, but I wasn't. Listen, I grew up with 2 parents in the household. My dad, I was, disciplined. There was no, I got disciplined. Yeah. So I wasn't crazy. I wasn't doing nothing illegal or nothing, but just in terms of I stayed in some mess.
Yeah.
And I think my wife would talk about it now. My wife, one day we was all out, this is before we had kids. And my wife asked one of my aunties, she was like, what was Rico like? Because everybody called me Rico. They was like, what was Rico like? And my wife always tell a story. I think it was my Aunt Leah. She grabbed the water bottle. She said, girl, Rico was like, and she just squeezed the water bottle like this, and water and shit started splashing over. And every time my oldest son started wilding out, she go, I always think back to your Aunt Leah. And what she said and the way she was squeezing that water bottle, I like to think that I was an artist as a young age. I think I just,
Yeah, you curious.
I was curious. I stayed into some stuff though, man, especially with school. Yeah. I probably got most of my whoopings for school. Because school, for me, man, school was about a lot of times was going and really performing. I really feel like looking back on it, I was just looking for an audience, even at that age. Oh. And so, I just, that's one thing we try to do now. We've thought about doing with my oldest son. Is he's a chip off the old block, so he be kind of driving my wife crazy. And one of my sister-in-law said, "You ever thought about providing an outlet for him so he can take all of that creative energy that he has?"
Yeah.
And he pushed. And so they have been kind of wanting to get into this industry, but part of me is like, don't get in this industry. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
I kind of, especially when like you got everybody. I mean, you got cute kids, man. Why don't you put them in commercials and all this other stuff? They do that with my daughter, and I'm just like, if she wants to get into the arts, I would rather her start on the stage.
There you go.
Learn the stage, understand it from the grassroots. Because understanding the business of everything, you can put her in something because she's cute, and then when they're ready to pay and it's like action, she's like, I don't want to do this. Yeah. Now it's a whole nother thing. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I'm like, nah, I want her to respect it first, learn it. You know.
Yeah. I'm the same way. Same way, man. But
I can totally get that, bro. So, and when you went to what type of occupation were your parents?
My dad when we moved here, my dad was working at Lockheed, and then that job he got laid off, and so it was literally a moment, a season of it was tough. It was really tough. I did not grow up in this. We ended up moving. I ended up going to Stone Mountain High School, but initially I was on for Redan because that's where my aunt and my
East
cousins
Side.
East Side, man.
I went to Lithonia.
Yeah. So and then I think we was in an apartment over there, man. They started jacking that rent up. My dad was like, "Listen, we gonna have to figure something out." So we headed across Memorial Drive, and I just kind of ended up over in that Stone Mountain district for I was there from elementary through high school. But yeah, no, it was, East Side, I always tell people I was born in Decatur, but East Side raised me. Yeah. East Side of Atlanta definitely raised me.
I can dig it, man. Did you get into any sports or anything when you were?
No, what's interesting?
Because you were working at that time. By that
time. When we first, I don't think I even got it. I'm going to tell you what happened. We moved and then my dad got laid off, and baseball, I was a baseball player.
Okay.
And I wanted to play football. But then we moved to Decatur. We moved from Decatur to Stone Mountain. We focused on baseball, but my dad got laid off. And by the time the summer rolled around, what it cost to play baseball here was really different. Like in Decatur, where I'm from, it was like, listen, $20, $30, you get a T-shirt. We may or may not put your last name on the back of it. Just have a glove and come play. And here it was like, you needed extra insurance, and it was this, that, and the third. It was different. And my dad was like, listen, we can't do it. And my mother, in her infinite wisdom, said, well, he's not going to sit up here and do nothing over the summer. And she found, looking through the newspaper, she found some modeling agency that was looking for kids. And it was literally like, man, maybe 4 weeks. And it was like, we teach you how to do modeling. And I think they paired me up with a photographer. I think her name was Sharon Fish or something like that. And so I took.
But you are good with remembering names, brother.
Somebody else said that, man. I know. God. I do. It's scary. It's scary.
Because that's like years ago.
I know, man, bro. It's a long time ago. Because we talking 6th grade when I took them pictures. But I don't know, man. I had a brother, good dude, man, named Quentin. He's in the industry. He put me to the side. He said, man, how do you do that? And I was like, man, I really don't know. And it's not everybody's name I remember. But a lot of times I think what people don't see is, let's say if Rod know you and I know young, I slide around, man, what's buddy's name? And then Rod will whisper it to me, and then I try to lock it in that way. So it's not that I always remember people's names, but sometimes I do have to find clever ways. Because I do like to establish, especially when I'm on set, or not even just on set, just period, man. I like to know. I can go to Publix by my crib, and it's a good 10 minutes of me waving and saying, hey, to this Miss Mary and this dude.
Such and such in the deli or wherever.
Lenny.
See?
I was on a podcast talking about Lenny not too long ago. Lenny. I ain't seen Lenny in a minute, too. I'm actually concerned about him. Don't get me rambling, dog. Keep me on track. Keep me on track, bro.
No. You good. That's cool. Look, because I'm always good with faces. Yeah. Like I never forget a face. Yeah. But when it comes to a name, I'll be like,
sometimes
it'll hurt me.
I was in Publix this morning. I had to run to the store this morning and get something. And I remember calling this guy. I said, what's up, Victoria? And that woman looked at me, and I probably met this lady 3 months ago. Mm-hmm. And the look on her face was like, how in the hell do you know my name? It was like, hey.
And that makes people feel good too.
That is a part of it. I do get something out of it. Because I like when people, I like when I can see it in their face. Like, dang, man, like you, like, yeah. Like, yeah.
So when you your mother got you into the arts at a very, very young age, right? Now, was that something that were you interested in going that route before she even introduced it, or it was kind of a thing where as she had you doing it, you were like, oh, I kind of like this thing?
Yeah, it's probably the latter. I wasn't. Now I will say in church, the church that I grew up in was called Mount Zion Missionary Baptist Church.
Yeah,
and so, periodically we would do things. So I had a couple solos in church. I remember at one point Reverend White had us all do the books of the Bible, like give a little report on it.
Yeah.
And I was the first one I did Genesis. And so I think looking back on all that stuff, I had I guess Nudie would be I don't know, he's a relative, but all of them on my grandmother on my dad's side, they all were into singing. Like, so they literally had these little quartets that they would do gospel music. My Uncle Junior, my Dave, all these cats in Decatur, and they actually pressed up like 45s back in the day that you could listen to.
Oh wow!
And so they read it, but it was my Uncle Nudie that basically put these together, and Nudie found out I liked to sing, and so Nudie put me on program, as they would say, and so I stayed on program with my Uncle Nudie, and "Take Me Through" was my song, and I think my first one was "I'm Looking for a Miracle." I'm looking for a miracle. I expect me. That was my first two little songs. So I look back on my life and I always say, man, those were the things that when it came time to audition, when it came time to stand up in front of on theater or a network test or a studio test, whatever the case may be, I really could draw upon all that stuff. Because the truth of the matter is, man, I have been doing it for way longer than
you've been prepared. All since you were little.
Since I was little.
Do you still sing?
Nah, man, I mess around a little bit, and every now and then they made me do it. I think on Let's Stay Together they made me sing with my co-star, the late Bert Belasco, and I was so mad because he was one that, man, he said, I think RonReaco should sing with me. I said, wait, what? Ain't nobody trying to sing. No, I think it'd be great, and they were adamant about it, so they made me sing. But every now and then in the industry, I have to sing. But it ain't now,
not like I'm about to come out with an album, everybody.
It ain't happening. Ain't happening. I got a couple keys that I sing in. I think F is one of them. It's like, but nobody be singing. Nobody singing F. It's like, but I'm like, it ain't my thing. But if I had to,
I can do. When you so once you started getting, I guess, more work and everything, you ended up going to. When did you decide to leave to go to LA?
So I was I left for LA in '97.
Okay.
And truthfully, man, I had stopped. I had no desire to act anymore.
Why not?
I think I graduated high school from Stone Mountain. I was it's now Georgia Perimeter, but back in the day it was DeKalb. Just trying to figure it out. I really wanted to go to Morehouse, and I had a dude that was trying to help me get into Morehouse, but I was just a knucklehead. And my dad had got me a job at a gym at their summer camp.
Okay.
So I was interacting with kids. The lady that ran the daycare at the gym needed some help. She said, "You want to pick up some extra hours? You're good with kids?" I said, "Yeah." Man, with Marjorie Cook, that thing again. So Marjorie gave me some hours. And honestly, one of the things I did was I read to the kids. And for an actor, it was literally like just acting.
Yeah.
And so she's like, "You're really good at this." And so I kept doing it. She ended up making me her assistant. And then they end up actually giving me a gym in Gwinnett. They lost the director. And so they was like, "Hey, would you be interested in this?" So I was like, I remember going home telling my dad, I had got some audition for, what's that movie with Sam Jackson, Matthew McConaughey? Is it Time to Kill?
Yes, it was.
So I get so they come in town. You remember Shay Griffin? Have you been around?
Yeah.
Remember Shay? So Shay, back in the day, Shay Griffin
She was the one.
She was it. If you was good with Shay, you was good.
A lot of Eddie Murphy stuff. Like
Shay Griffin, godly for years, but she cast me in everything I did in Georgia. Shay Griffin cast me in it. And long story short, Shay called me and she said, "Hey, there's a movie coming to town and they would love to meet with you." And I was like, "They want to meet with me?" I'm like, shoot, ain't nobody ever wanted to just meet with me. So I was like, yeah. So I go down to the meeting and I was all excited. I remember telling my dad, anyway, get down there. It was kind of a whack meeting. The lady was like, "I just wanted to meet with you. I saw some of your stuff." And the only thing we had now is it was a character called Do-Rag, like Do-Rag number 1 or Do-Rag number 2. And as she's telling me this, man, I'm pissed off, dog. Because I'm thinking, man, I'm about to, this is it. Yeah. And Do-Rag number 1. And I remember seeing the movie, and it was a dude in a do-rag. And he literally just a close-up of him. I don't even know if he had a line. God bless him. But I walked away from that. Bruh, I walked away from that meeting and I was like, man, I ain't doing this shit no more. And I came home and my daddy was on the couch because he worked second shift. And he was, I think he had the day off actually. And he said, how'd it go? I said, man, I don't want to do this anymore. My dad looked at me and said, don't do it. And I said, well, he said, me and your mother have we ever made you feel like you had to do this? And I said, nah. He said, don't do it. And he said, man, you clearly have a gift with kids and you should pursue that. And so everything was a shift. That was probably, man, maybe 95.
Yeah.
That everything shifted to that. Education-wise, early child development, I wanted a daycare.
Yeah.
And that was my shift. So I changed everything up. And then one day, out of nowhere, I'm at the daycare. I get a beep. Check my beeper.
Boy, had a beeper.
Check my beeper. It's my agent. I'm like, what are they calling me for? So I called him back. And I was like, what y'all calling me for? You know what? And
I told you I'm done with this shit.
I'm done. Don't call me. And she was like, you have to read this script. I was like, I'm not reading it. RonReaco, you have to come down here and get the script because this was before email. This was before later. I had to go down from Stone Mountain all the way down to like Far Road and Piedmont.
Oh, yeah.
Over there by, who remembers Cynthia Stillwell? Anybody?
Stillwell Casting. They do
the house.
Commercials and all that.
Remember the house?
Yeah.
So but my agency was right around that area. I went down there. I picked up the script. I was like, whatever. And right when you turn back on the Piedmont, right by the Waffle House, I think it's a Range Rover dealership.
Yep.
It's a stoplight. And I stopped and I looked at the script and I read like, you know, I'm at the stoplight reading it. And I immediately was like, oh shit. It immediately sucked me in. And what got me was most of the stuff I had done as a kid and as a young adult was primarily period pieces. Yeah. I did more movies about Civil War and Jim Crow. And you know, I got called a nigga so many times. I ain't gonna say it wasn't that bad. But as an actor, that was pretty much what acting was to me.
Yeah.
Because most people, when productions came to Georgia, they were just looking to shoot period pieces. So Glory, I'll Fly Away. You know, countless movies that I did. Oldest Living Confederate Widow Tells All. I did a bunch of movies like that. And so anyway, long story short, this movie wasn't that. This movie was literally, it was called How I Spent My Summer Vacation. The brother that wrote it had just graduated from Howard. He had got financing to do this movie, and they were trying to, Shay Griffin was casting it. And so that script came my way, and I remember reading it going, whoa. And it was literally about Black love and making up and breaking up. He had in the cameras, very much like Woody Allen. I had never read anything like that, black or white, but especially a movie that was about us, written by, I had never read it, and I was engrossed. Somebody beeping at me like, go, I'm at the stoplight reading it. I'm reading the script. They beeping
all the way in.
Went home, read that script, and was like, yo. And that was really the start of it. But it was, you know, I think I went in and auditioned for him. And then we had callbacks. And I think the night before the callback, I ain't gonna lie, I was in the bed. I was super nervous. I started crying. I started praying because I just didn't, you know, I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I just remember asking God, like, give me like a sign. And I remember getting to that audition, and it's a lot of local, like, God, who all was there? Tierra Jinx, who was in, I don't know if people probably remember Tierra, but Tierra Jinx was there, Deanna was there, and a few other cats. And I can remember feeling like, oh God, like, you know, it's a callback and it's you know, director session. And I remember saying something, and I remember one of the girls, it's either Tierra or somebody said to me, she said, you know, you're the only one reading for, the lead dude was Perry. She said, you're the only one reading for Perry. And I said, really? And she said, yeah. I said, well, who he reading for? She said, he reading for this character. I said, who he reading for? I believe he reading for this other character. I'm the only one? And she said, yeah. And it's like, that's all I needed, bro. Like, once I found that out, I remember going in that room and it was nobody that was gone. Like, I was hell bent on getting that part. Like, once I found out, like, because I felt like, all right, they kind of want me. This is really just really all it was a chemistry test, but I ain't know nothing about chemistry tests.
You just thought it was a callback. And there was going to be another 8-9 people up for the same part.
And so I get there and that was it. And so that moment right there, dude, was the moment. Like, that was the start of it. And I think at some point they cut together a sizzle reel, like, just to kind of motivate us midway through the shoot. And I was telling somebody this story. The executive producer, he had a van, one of them old conversion vans. He opened it. Hey, I want to show y'all something. So he opens the van up, and Buddy had a TV with a VCR. I had never seen one before with a VCR in the bottom of it. And he popped in an old VHS tape and pushed play, and he had cut together a trailer using like the first week of footage. And everybody's watching it, and I was like watching it. But I was looking at it differently. I was seeing myself do something that I had never seen before. And so that was the moment. Somebody just asked me this, and I was telling them, man, my homeboy, we still cool. He wrote and directed the film, John Fisher. And I told him that was the moment that I said, this is what I want to do.
Wow.
Because I saw it. I'm like, oh, shit, that's it?
So after this happens and you leave for LA shortly after this? Or
we shot that movie right before the Olympics. So we had to rap because the Olympics was starting. We shot that in 96. Yeah. They rapped. We rapped the week, like right before they started the Olympics. Like we ain't had no time. Like it was like, we got to be done by this day because the city is about to be crazy.
I was fresh. I was new to Georgia.
Yeah, we talked about it. Yeah.
Because I came here New Year's Eve '95, going into '96.
So yeah, bro, '96 Atlanta was all about the Olympics.
I was like, what is it? Between the Olympics and Freaknik, I was like, where did my parents bring me?
Yeah, man. Yeah, it was wild out. So we finished that movie. And me and John got real tight. Like John, like when I was praying, like I need a sign. John was that sign. Like everything started lining. John was that sign, like of like, dude. And so he out of nowhere just randomly asked me. He said, "You know anybody with 2 VCRs?" I said, "Yeah, bro. I got 3." He said, "Man, if I bring you a master copy of this movie." And I think the statute of limitations is up, so I can talk about this. But he stole a copy of the movie. Yeah, he stole it. He stole a copy of the movie, and he said, "You know anybody with 2 VCRs?" I'm like, "Bro, I got 3." Yeah. He from Athens, so I'm in Stone Mountain, so he just coming down 78, and this dude would stop at the Best Buy on 78, and he would buy about 50 of high quality Sony blank VHS tapes. Yeah, he would drive me. I was still in school, so I'm while I'm doing homework, I'm just dubbing tapes. And then he would come get it. We did that every Saturday morning. We did about 100 tapes. Wow. And then he sent all them tapes out to LA. Out of 100 tapes, I think we got 3 or 4 hits. Wow. 100 tapes, 3 or 4 hits. And we end up going to LA.
He was like the Master P of acting.
Bruh. Hey, it was really my boy though. John really was the catalyst behind it because he had a grind that I wasn't really familiar with, and to this day he's still such a great influence on me. But yeah, man, he sent all them tapes out. We got a few hits, and I think we went to LA right before Christmas in '96, which is unheard of. People thought we was crazy, but my daddy was at Delta, so he could give my boy a buddy. He got John a buddy pass, and we flew out there, and we had a couple good meetings. But I ended up getting a manager out of that. Yeah, this cat named Tom Pasiali was my first manager in LA, and he signed me based on that movie. He saw that movie, and that movie was kind of that movie. I think Robbie Reed saw that movie.
That was your business card.
Yeah. Monica Swan, who cast Sister, saw it. Eileen McKnight, who cast Martin. All these black casting directors. We circulated with that. I think we sent it to Pam Warner at the time. She was Malcolm Jamal Warner's manager. I mean, we had this book, and we hit everybody in that book like a creative directory.
Wow. And so when you get out to LA, it seems as though it didn't take that long until you was already kind of working.
It does, but listen. Yeah, I'd be the first one to tell you, man. I was tremendously blessed. I was out there. I moved out there January of '97, and I probably did my first episode of Sister August. I did it right before my 21st birthday.
That gap. What happens? What happens in that gap?
Oh, that gap was gappy. That gap was That gap was gappy because John left. He had another script we was trying to do, and then they sold House from Us on Vacation. So he wanted to be around there while they were finalizing the deal. So he's like, man, I'm out. And so my parents was like, wait, what? And he had the car. And
so you was by yourself.
I was out there by myself. So John left. I don't know what day it was, but I can tell you Living Single was on. Yeah. I know that for a fact. Yeah. Whatever night Living Single came on, that's the night he left. And I remember he said, all right. He looked at me dead in my face. All right, nigga, I'm out. Dap me up. And
like he was going up the street.
Yeah. And I'm trying to be cool, like, all right, man, safe travel as you driving back to Georgia. And I was literally just like, oh my God, I told my parents. My mom was like, you want me to come out there, baby? And you want to come home? I remember calling my homeboy. And I told him, I said, man, I think I'm just come home because my homeboy Corey was coming out anyway. It was just a matter of when. Yeah. And so I said, man, I think I'm gonna come home. And he said, hold on, man, let me call you back when I get off work. And he called me up with another one of our homeboys, Dre. And them dudes was like, this a test. And they was like, don't bring your ass home. I said, man, y'all don't, and I snapped. I'm like, man, y'all don't understand. I'm out here alone. I ain't got no car. I'm in the hood. I'm in East LA. Don't come home. And I remember being like, man, damn. Like, I just knew they was going to be like, man, come on back. We're going to reset. We'll get us to go. Don't come home.
Earn them stripes.
And I said, oh, man. And so, man, at a certain point, I just embraced it. The being alone. You know, I was getting auditions, but I ain't gonna lie, I was jacking them auditions up because, you know, back when you was in Atlanta, if you was cool with Shay, you was good. But here it was like every audition I got was a different casting director. And they all had, don't touch this one, or you can't, don't look this one in the, I mean, it was all these little, you know, crazy, just like crackhead ass things that you couldn't do. And it was really, it just had me bound.
It'll mess up your performance.
I couldn't really hit it. Like, I just couldn't. And so I did go back right before, because me and my homeboy was coming out July 4th. No, mid-July. And because we went to Essence Festival. His birthday was on the 16th. His mom had a little party for him, and then we went to Essence Festival. And then we came out. Now, the beauty in that was I had another actor with me. Gotcha. And Corey had kind of started acting a little later. He started in high school. And so he still had all that training that I had kind of gotten away from. And, you know, sometimes I just think you just forget about the basics. And having him out there, it was a refresher course. Like, it was just things I was missing, you know.
So you wasn't training when you was out there in LA?
No, I wasn't. Nah. When I first got out there, raw. I wasn't. I had a lady that my manager connected me with. Okay. And she would coach me for auditions. But I didn't start training in LA until I think I ended up going to probably like, it was a minute, because even when I got Sister, it took a minute, but you know, there's nobody that can really teach you how to do sitcom, like sitcom and that timing your own. It's on the job training, and everybody was gracious. You know, I probably learned the most from Deion Richmond, who played Jordan. Really? And a lot of people know him from Cosby Show. Yeah, Deion was a huge asset. Because Tim and Jack A, you know, Tim had that thing down. So he had it down. He had bought a studio, I think, in Virginia. Yeah. And Tim really came in. Shit, man. Tim may not have came in till like Wednesday or Thursday. We shot on Fridays. I mean, it was just, he had it down. But nobody gonna check him because he was always gonna have it. They lucky to have him. Yeah. You know, he's a vet. And so, yeah, man, he would come in probably Thursday, lay his stuff down and be out. Jackie was probably around the most, but I didn't, you know, I'm not going to bug her with stuff. But Deion was right there with me in the trenches, like, you know, it's this, is that, and just helped me tremendously. He's a funny dude. Like, he could take anything and make it funny. And I know I'm all over the place, but sometimes when
I'm loving this.
But sometimes when you're around actors like that, especially in a comedic setting, it's just only natural that you start to do what they're doing. It's very easy to do it.
You're in a master class, basically.
You are. And so what ends up happening is you see what they're doing and you're like, well, shit, I'll just do that. And so there's some shows I can watch now. I ain't gonna say no name, but there's some shows you can watch now from back in the day and you can see it. Whenever you're around really, really like influential, funny people, it's hard to, especially if you haven't developed your funny. Yeah. And I hadn't. And so I was looking like, where can I get some funny? Because I need to be funny out here. And so I started kind of latching on to the stuff that Deion was doing. And I'll never forget Rashawn McDonald, great dude, really good dude. Rashawn McDonald basically sat me down one day, said, man, let me talk to you for a second. He said, man, have a seat. And we was on set. I had a little downtime. And he basically more or less said to me, hey, what Deion does is what he does. We don't need you to do that. And it hurt my feelings. Oh. It really did. But when I tell you, it was some of the best advice anybody could have given me.
Because you would have got just comfortable doing that. Yep. And you would have just been locked in and you would have never discovered Rico's.
My comedy. Yes. Yeah. And dude, I tell him this today. I told him a couple years ago, he had a podcast, and I told him, I said, brother, some of the best. It was so hard to hear because I kind of thought I had a cheat code. Like, oh, I know what I can do. And then he was like, nah, we ain't gonna do that. You here to do you here to do this. Yeah. Let him do that. And really it taught me how to play. Really it taught me two things. It encouraged me, and it really, really made me go out and figure out what my funny was gonna look like in this industry. But the other thing that it did was it taught me how to play my position. I think one of the things that I'm good at is I can go to a set, and wherever I'm at on the call sheet, like I know how to kind of, it's a position that you ultimately have to play. You know, if I'm on your show and it's your show, there's a different position that I'll play. than if it's I ain't gonna call it my show, but if it's a show where I'm it's just different positions that you play. And so you learn how to really be more of a supporting cast member and what that entails. And I don't think people really talk about that a lot.
They don't because I've never heard it. Like, you know what I mean? It's almost one of them unwritten things.
Yeah, nobody talks about it. Nobody talks. Until you violate it, until you do something wrong and they fire you, right? Right. Because it happens. Yeah. And I see it all. I mean, I've seen it all too many times, and it's just somebody coming on and say, I remember, listen, when I did Sister was such a weird time in my life because when I started Sister, I was dead ass broke. Yeah. My parents was basically my parents staked me for 1 year. They said, listen, we got you for a year. They gave up their house. They moved into an apartment. And they said, we got you for 1 year. Because my parents never had like a college fund for me. Yeah. And I had been making a little money. So even when I went to school, I was paying for it myself. Mm-hmm. And they said, the one thing we want to do is we want to stake you for a year. If that's what you want to do, we got you for a year. So they never did. Bruh, they covered my rent. And I got a little, they covered my rent, my utilities, and I got a little pocket change. Not much. But here's the crazy part. I started working in August of 97. My daddy still cut me checks from September. Like, he cut me checks. He never stopped. He said, no, this is my commitment to you. So for a minute there, man, I was making money on top of money. Yeah. So I remember he cut me my last rent check when I went home Christmas. Yeah. And I was making money at that point. So Sister had become a low-key regular gig. And then when we came back in January, I had got wind that they wanted to do a deal with me, but I knew none of that. I didn't even have a car. Yeah. So I'm just trying to stay afloat.
Yeah, you just surviving.
Yeah. But I say that to say what happened on that show is I felt like, there was moments where I was kind of coming into my own on a show where, the first thing I was just like, how's everybody doing? I'm so happy to be here. Great to see you. Yep. Good to see you. And then when I came back kind of that second season, I kind of came back, I wasn't on the bus anymore. I ain't saying I was driving what they was driving because God knows they had some nice cars. Yeah. But I was pulling up in my little Geo Prism. With bumping music. And,
let's go now.
Yeah.
What was you listening to back then?
Oh, man. I can remember when I first got my car, I bought it in Hollywood. And I think I bought it on a Saturday. And then I went to the Beverly Center Sunday, and they had a music store upstairs. And I bought the remix of Big Pun. I'm not a player, but I bought the maxi single. So it had remixes on there. God's my witness, bro. And I was bumping that, my darling, baby. I'm not a player. I just crushed a lot. Yeah. Had that thing bumping on that prison, boy.
In your mind, you was like, yeah, I'm doing it. I'm making it happen.
I was catching, people don't know this, I was catching the bus, the 55 Paramount. People, I was coming on TV, like Sister started airing, and I get on the bus, and people be like, nah. And then we pull up, the Paramount, and I pull the cord and get up, and then I would get off the bus, and I look back, and they'd be on the window like that. Oh shit, that is him. Dude, I was just trying to get off the bus, bro. I was trying to get off the bus. So yeah, man, when that hit, but I told you, I hope y'all can cut this together because I'll be all over the place. But it was struggle, bro. Yeah. Them first few auditions it was a struggle. And then when my boy Corey came out, I think I auditioned for one. I had this thing, it was a movie called Park Days. Hill Harper and I think Monica Calhoun was her name. A little independent movie. Yeah. And I remember auditioning for it. But I didn't get it, but I felt like we was trending in the right direction. And then I think I had auditioned for Moesha shortly after that. And I can remember blowing that one. That one I just flat out blew. Because we did a test. Like, I had to read with her.
Yeah, with Brandy.
Yeah, and I had to do it. I think they shot at Sunset Gower, and so it was very like, the way the audition process was set up, and I don't know how it is now because post-COVID,
everything is on tape now.
Yeah, everything on tape.
I haven't seen nobody in person in so long.
But back in the day, man, they rigged the system to weed out those that couldn't do it. Yeah, because you literally. I think for that Brandy, for that Moesha test, it was Sunset Gower, and they keep you downstairs, and then they be like, okay, I'm gonna bring 2 people up. You wait, you on deck, and then you come in, but you never could see what the room was like. Yeah. And so finally, you go up these stairs and you stand by, and you can hear the other actor in there. You hear the laughs, you hear everything, and then when they open the door, come out, then you go in and you realize, oh shit, it's like, man, there's probably 30 people in that room, dog. I mean, they was just all around in the writer's room. I can remember looking up and, who was in there? Mara Brock Akil was in there. She was a writer on the show back then, just a writer. And but I can remember going up there, standing up with Brandy. I had my script. He's like, "You ready?" I was like, "Yep." Put my script down. Let's get it. How you doing? Good to meet you, Brandy. Nice to meet you. Big fan. Love the show. And we get to reading it, and I look at her, and you know how you start the scene, you lock eyes. And in my head, I went, "Oh shit, that's Brandy." Man, couldn't think of not landline, bro. Couldn't think of nothing. And this was the worst. I forget the dude's name, man. I think they called him Woody. He was like a AD over there, but a good dude, good brother. Mm-hmm. And I heard him say, "Take your time." And dude, when I heard that, I knew I wasn't getting it. When you hear somebody say, "Take your time in audition," pack it up.
I had a moment like that too, in front of Tisha Campbell.
Really?
Yeah, they were doing they were promoting a movie. It was Tisha Campbell, Blair Underwood, and Dwayne Martin.
Okay.
They were promoting a movie, and they just decided to do a cattle call.
Okay.
Like some type of audition or whatever. It was about 200 people out there.
Oh wow.
And when I come in there, I'm all confident. Everybody looking nervous, like, "Hey, I got this." You know, get my lines. And, you know, in a cattle call, you're going to wait about 2 hours before it's time for you to go.
Absolutely.
And I get ready once they call my name, my heart started beating real tough. Yeah. I'm like, what is that?
Right?
Yeah. And the closer I get to the room, the heavier it starts pounding. Now it's in my throat.
Yeah.
So I get in there and I see them standing, just sitting at the table. Mm-hmm. And Tisha Campbell, she was so nice, so sweet. Yeah. And I've talked to her about it. I told her about this recently. Yeah. And she was like, "So what's your name?" And I was like,
shit. It's a great question, Tisha.
Larry. It took me about 10 seconds to remember my name. And she was like, "All right, well, you can go whenever you're ready." Hands were sweating, shaking. Yeah. I forgot how to read.
Yeah.
It was such a bad audition. And all she did was look at me after it was done. I was like, "I'm sorry."
But you know.
She was like, I think that she knew like his nerves got the best of him in that moment. Yeah. But from that moment, I said I will never allow my nerves to get the best of me like ever again.
Dude, after that Moesha audition, I went to the bus stop. I was at the corner of Gower and Sunset, right in front of Denny's, and I sat down and I said, "Lord, if you ever put me in this position again, I ain't gonna blow it." And I had that exact because I knew it. I said, "Golly, I blew it. I blew it." And I said that, and man, that was before my homeboy moved out, but probably Corey moved back. Mm-hmm. I mean, Corey moved out to LA, and it was probably 3 or 4 months later. Mm-hmm. I figured that, because we went through that summer basically. And then, you know, network TV shows would start back up mid-July, late, early August, and they would start shooting it. Back then, he was doing 22, 24 episodes, so you shoot till February. Yeah. So by the time he had come out, I probably got that audition mid-August. And
Yeah, so when so you do Sister. Yep. Things are kind of moving while you were out there in LA. At some point you decide, you know, I guess fast forward and like, all right, I need to get back to Atlanta. I need to get back this way. Yeah. What was that transition? Like what caused that?
It was I was in LA for a
long time.
I was in LA for a minute. But no, you know,
10, 15 years, LA?
Easily. Yeah. I moved out there in 97 and we came back in 11. Yeah, so it was out there for a minute. But no, I never felt like LA was gonna be my spot. Like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It was just nothing against LA. I met great people out there. It was a great time in my life. But I always knew I probably was gonna come back to Georgia. And what really solidified it was the brother Rashawn McDonald, who was a producer on Sister. Mm-hmm. He just took a liking to me, man. And we would just chop it up. And on this particular day, he said, "Man, I'm gonna take you out. To get something. I just want to really just pour into you, kind of mentor you." And I said, "Let's do it." Mm-hmm. And I can remember he stayed in these amazing townhomes in Park La Brea. And I can remember him telling me, like, I said something. He said, No. He said, "This is just my work spot." He said, "My home is in Houston." Wow. And I said, "Wait a minute, what?" I said, "How does that even work?" And he said, "Bro, let me tell you something." He said, "You don't have to give LA your money like that." And I said, "Really?" He said, "No." He basically had it set up, dude, where he left on Fridays after taping on Sister. He'd go back to Houston, and then he'd fly back on Monday. And that was the first time I started thinking about, oh, wow, I can do that. And so I had it in my back pocket as something that I wanted to ultimately do. Yeah. But I didn't decide to move back, man, honestly, until my now wife, then girlfriend, had moved to LA. And, you know, for a long time, it was just me and artists. It was just me and my homeboy Corey, or, you know, my homeboy John from Howard. You know, he crashing on the couch. And so, you know, and it's always just dudes. And so, you know, you have a bad audition, or you have a bad pilot season, or you don't get the pilot you want. and you just come on with your fellas, and it's just like you vent and like, man, let's let's just go out, dog. We gonna go out tonight and just we gonna party. But when you get into an adult mature relationship, like I couldn't, like I had to deal with all that. And what ended up happening was, man, I was bringing a lot of that stuff home, and it was just, you know, and I realized like I can't keep doing this.
She didn't really understand it.
No, it wasn't that at all. She did. I just didn't like the fact that, like, I personally was coming home and just being like, you know, because she was working a corporate job for Guess. Like, she was working downtown for the Marcianos, working at Guess. And so, you know, she had her corporate life, and here I am as an artist coming in, and she was doing well. And here I am coming in because I ain't get this audition or something happened. And I'm just, so it was one of them things where I was kind of looking at my year, and literally at that time, man, all I was really doing was grinding for a pilot. If the pilot got picked up, great, you know, which rarely happened. If it didn't get picked up, then I was just grinding for what I felt was solid recurrings. And then hoping that might lead to it. And I actually hit a couple times on different shows where, you know, I was able to get more episodes. So I just was looking for recurrings until pilot season came back around. So I was like, damn, honestly, I don't really need to be out here, but for, you know, end of January to like March, April, then head back. And I said, so that became my thought, was I would get an apartment in LA and then grab a crib in Georgia.
Because coming to Georgia, your money gonna stretch.
Yeah. And I literally, for what I would pay for a mortgage and a small apartment in LA, we would probably be less than what a full flat just mortgage in LA would be. Yeah, man. It wasn't no joke. So I think once I figured that out, and people thought I was crazy. I remember telling my homeboy Corey, you know, he didn't think I was crazy, but a lot of the cats just was like, why?
They
like,
didn't get why. Because things are moving.
But people see it like it's moving, but when you over here, it's like, it ain't moving. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like people, but it wasn't really. Like I said, I was literally just waiting for pilot season. I was blessed, man. More times than not, I would book a pilot. Like I was. And then I got a deal. You know, I actually ended up getting a deal based on one of the pilots I did. They ended up giving me a development. I ended up getting a 2-year holding deal from NBC. And so that kind of, I was chilling for a couple years. It wasn't nothing I really talked about, but yeah, man, I hit a nasty little deal over there.
Man, your career has been amazing, because it's not a lot of artists that can start at a very young age and be consistent for decades at a time. And I mean, of course, during that time, there's some ebbs and flows. Absolutely. There's some valleys in there as well.
Absolutely.
But for the most part, you've been able to really be consistent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So I guess my question is, how do you remain consistent? Like what? Like, you know, I know there's no blueprint. Everybody got their story, but how was Rico able to, you know, keep things going?
You know, I tell people, man, it's you have to reinvent yourself, but it's not a reinvention, because you don't want to. I think that's a mistake too. It's like you go away for a minute and you come back, and you're just this completely different person. So I don't think it's that. I just think, you know, for me, it's always been. I can remember, you know, kind of in one of them valleys, and I can remember I didn't go home. I ain't had the money. This is probably, I forget what year it was, but I can tell you what it was. I didn't have money to go home. My homeboy went home, and I said, you know, I'm gonna just stay at the crib, and I end up getting some books. I think I got a couple of Stanislavski books. I read Building a Character and The Actor Prepares.
I got both of those.
Yeah. Great books. Yeah. And I just said, man, I say that to say, whenever I got in those moments, I would always just kind of revamp my process. Like whatever my process was, I'd be quick to be like, this ain't working. And I would just kind of revamp it. And I can remember I think I had auditioned for Girlfriends right before, that's what it was. I auditioned for Girlfriends, and they had me come in. I don't think they made me read with Tracy. But I just remember it was a gang of dudes. I can remember all the cast that was there. And I'm like, man, I ain't gonna get this. I said, but if I do, they were asking what your holiday plans were, because basically it was one of them situations where New Year's fell, or it fell on one of them days where, like, listen, you need to be here. If you're traveling, this isn't gonna work for you, because we're gonna need you. And I said if I got it, I wasn't gonna go home, because I ain't really had the money anyway. And I ended up getting it. And that was the first project after that where I had kind of revamped my process. And so I was incorporating a lot of building. I remember the director who had worked with me on Sister, Sheldon Epps. And he had worked with me on Sister, so he saw me in my raw. Matter of fact, he directed the first episode of Sister I ever did, and great director. He's a film dude, or I'm sorry, theater guy. He was the artistic director at the Pasadena Playhouse for years. Still might be there, I don't know, but good dude. But I can remember he came over because with sitcom, one of the things people don't realize with sitcoms. I was just telling my wife this is that if you have an audition and you're not quite straight on the line, like you ain't off book. Sitcom teaches you how to act while holding your script, because Monday through Thursday on a traditional 4-camera sitcom that's on a 5-day work week, you have your script Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, because they do rewrites. And so the first
constantly
day,
rewriting.
So I remember watching it, and so there are actors. Tim Reed, Jack Kay, the girls were excellent at it, but that was the first thing I realized I had to learn how to do was literally hold my script and still engage, pick up the lines as I need. I forget who told me, like, you got to get better with that because you can't be remembering all this stuff because they're going to change every night. And sometimes if the script ain't to their liking, you wouldn't get the next script till the next morning because you in the bed when they deliver it. And so you go downstairs, you check and you see, and then you open it up and you see all the asterisks like, dang, something didn't work. So you would have to, and so it took me, it took me a minute to learn, but once I got it down, but it's one of those things that, oh my God, like when I got to go do audition after I leave here. And
me too.
And I'm probably going to be hugging the script, a little bit, but I don't, it doesn't bother me because again, man, that's that one thing sitcom training, it gives you.
So you've had the opportunity to do TV and film.
Yeah.
You're talking about your process. Once you've booked, let's just say it's film, because we know television is very fast-paced. Yes. Once you book a film project, what is your process as far as approaching it? Like, how do you approach your characters?
I do a lot of writing. I do a lot of longhand stuff. I don't type nothing. I sit down with paper. I go through the script.
Man, we the same person.
I go through the script, and a lot of times I don't get all bogged down with biography. Like, I remember when Nate Parker was doing The Great Debaters. It was one of the things where he showed Denzel all the stuff he did. And I've done all those things. Like, I've tried a lot of things. So really what works for me is I'll build the biography kind of as I'm going. Certain things I'll determine, but a lot of times things get revealed to me as I read the script.
Yeah.
And I think if more people learn, it's almost like how you read poetry or, even, and I'm certainly not comparing the two with a Bible, but I feel like, when you read the Bible, it is one of those things that there's interpretations of it. Somebody might interpret scripture this way, the other person might interpret it. And I feel like scripts are very similar in that way, in that there's all these context clues and there's all these things that are not being said, and so I try to take as much of those things as I can. And one of the things I love to do, man, is I'm a big fan of adding some type of history. What is the relationship like? I'm looking at relationships from what's my relationship with this character? What's this character's relationship with this person? How does it affect me? And I'm just trying to connect all the dots.
It becomes a puzzle.
Yeah. And I think the more you can, kind of figure it out. And I was just working on something, and it is. I get excited. Like, I'm like, oh yeah, that's that. I didn't even think about that. Like, oh, whoo, right. And I do, man. And it's nothing that's really written. It's just kind of what I discover. So that's what I'm looking for. And I know a lot of times we don't get scripts, especially when if they coming out of LA. Listen,
you get sides.
I was a local hire. I was a dude. Wasn't until I moved to LA I realized, like, oh snap, like the whole script exists, and like you get it. So when you're in a situation where you don't have a whole script, I think you have to really. So if it's a TV show, I'm looking at previous seasons. I'm trying to skim through it, depending on how much time I got. If it's a film, it's so unfortunate that they don't give you script. I just try to. Yeah. I see who's attached. I do stuff like that. Get on IMDb, see who's attached. I see what type what's their style, what kind of I take all that stuff into consideration. But for me, it's literally just about longhand. The who, what, when, where, why. I love to establish what my opening beat is. What's going on. Yeah. I love to, dude. I will incorporate you. I'll start talking. What? Yeah. Tell him I'll call him back. And then we'll start the scene. Like, if you go to Catapult right now, it's probably who's over there? Darielle, Madeline. They'll probably tell you, man, you go in there around RonReaco, you don't know what you're gonna get. I tell them, man, come on, stay with me, because because that's how I find the stuff too, man.
And you can't be afraid to explore those things.
Got to.
I think a lot of times we come in there, we try to give them what we think they want to see, and that robs the performance.
Bro,
you know.
Listen, I had a homeboy. I remember because I'm of a time where we would get all the time. Do we get these thug number 1, thug number 2, angry black man? And I remember getting to a point. I was like, man, I don't even want to I just don't want to do this shit like that. That's not what I want to do. And what it came from was me constantly trying to figure out what kind of angry black man would I be. Yeah. And nothing is more frustrating to walk into a room with people that don't look nothing like you, and then they want to tell you how to be you. Yes. And man, I remember having one of my auditions, and I said, I ain't doing that again. And my homeboy John, I remember I said, man, take a look at this, man. Tell me what you think. And I did some stuff. I forget what the movie was for. And I did it. And he said, man, I'm gonna tell you something. He said, basically what he said is, if they want that, let them go find that. That you ain't they gonna find that. That's a dime a dozen. You coming in and blah, 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 blah,
yeah, sucker, come give me mine.
Let them go find that.
Yeah,
right. But give them something that's just a version. I had an old manager say that. He says, "Is there a version of this character that you like?" I say, "Yeah, but they ain't gonna like it." He said, "Don't worry about it." He said, "Just go in there and do that version of it.
It'll be unique every time."
And I said, okay. And so that started that process of, and now let me tell you, I have been in rooms with casting directors, finished up an audition. They've been like, is that how you want to? And I'm like, yeah, that's how I want to do it. And it's a casting director this day to if she called me in, I know she calling me in because the writer or director is like, hey, we love to see RonReaco. Is he available? And she's like, let me see if I can find him. You know what I mean? But she don't want because we literally had a moment where I was like, nah. And she's like, well, what are you afraid of? I said, nah, I just feel like this is my interpretation of the character. And I just feel like this is me working genuinely from this is how I'm gonna portray a thug. Or at the end of the day, man, I'm not a huge dude. Like somebody, the laws of physics, somebody come in, put their foot in my ass, ain't nothing I can do, right? Yeah. So if I'm over here and I'm slinging dope or whatever I'm doing, I'm gonna have some cats with me, right? They gonna do all the dirty work. And so when I started looking at it like that, my reality, what it would really look like if I was out here selling dope, if I had some henchmen behind me, and how I would kind of carry myself. That's the character I liked. Yeah. Me trying to come in and make you think honest.
I'm not gonna believe you being this big bro. Like your gangster's gonna be a lot more cerebral.
Dude. And and so that when I grabbed a hold of that, it was a game changer. Because again, I've done some roles that was some thugs. Yeah. And the reason I got them because 98.5% came in thugging, and I came in giving them, I'm going to give you some layers of thug, but I'm also going to give you some layers here that you can, if you want to, you can access. So we're not just going to be so one-dimensional. I can't stand seeing, as black men, I can't stand seeing just angry black men that's angry for reasons that aren't really, I've had roles where I was like, I'm not saying I don't want to do it, but what I am saying is I want the audience to see why this dude is this way. Yeah. Because I think that's what's important. Sometimes I think that's almost more important because, I just think people need to see, his mama did this. Oh, his daddy did this. Even if it's one scene that just explains why this dude is. I remember having to walk away from a project because it involved, I would have had to put hands on a woman, the character, and I couldn't figure out why.
What would motivate you to do it?
Yeah. And more importantly, why is he like that? Now, if we could write a scene in there, quick scene where he's telling one of them little short monologues about how his mama did this to him, his daddy did this, or he saw his uncle do this, then I'm like, oh, I get it. Yeah. Now I feel sorry for the dude. I ain't mad at the dude. I feel sorry for that poor dude. Yeah. You know what I mean?
You don't know no better.
I'm an empath anyway, so I'm going to always find that thing in a character, but you got to give it to me. You know what I'm saying? You got to have it. It's got to be in there.
What have, is there anything that you, because you've done a lot, is there anything that you haven't done that you would look to, I don't know, sci-fi, action thriller, action flick, I don't know, like, even though I feel like the Tyler Perry film that you did came out last year.
Duplicity.
Duplicity. I felt like that was like a thriller.
It was.
It had some action to it.
It had some action.
Yeah,
it had some action. That was
I mean?
a dream come true. I always wanted to play. Listen, I think I went to see. I was just telling somebody this story, and I said I went to see Beverly Hills Cop with my parents, and I had just got this Transformers Megatron, and Megatron was a gun, but if you did to transform it, it was a Megatron.
Oh wow.
So technically, I had a little pistol. So I went to see Beverly Hills Cop. We had just come in the house. My daddy had went to the bathroom. My dad came in the bathroom, and I did my best Axel Foley on his ass, man. Freeze! And my daddy reared back. He was like, "Boy, learn a valuable lesson there." But I say that to say, dude, I've been playing cop. Like that was a dream come true.
Yeah.
To play a police. And I think I had done it before then, but Duplicity, shit, I tell anybody, man, I was walking around TPS Studios. Shoot, I had my vest on, man. I wasn't taking none of that stuff off, dude.
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed that. And that character. That was a dream come true.
Man, I was watching that, and I was like, dog, I was like, he seems so. I feel like he is hiding something. He's trying to put it on the white boy. But I know he got something to do with everything that happened. Like what wasn't shown, like you know what I'm saying? So it was fun watching all of the twists and turns.
There's a lot of twists.
You know what I mean? And I didn't expect the ending to be what it was. Yeah. So I was like, okay. I was like, Rico, all right, you was an asshole. I really didn't like you. I really didn't like you in the movie. But that just means you did an excellent job.
That's what I like to think. Larry. No, I've had a few of those parts come my way, and I like them because listen, as somebody that's been in the game for a long time, you know, trying to get people to see me as a bad guy, it's been tough. It's like, you know, because man, people just have this very like, nope, the bad guy has to look this way, has to be this way. And it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating as an actor because now I do think it's changing a little bit. I think people are more open to things kind of looking different or not looking like
like cookie cutter.
Exactly.
Like everything else.
Different. And it's funny, I was watching this movie on YouTube, Ray Liotta, who's a great actor. I think Ray Liotta passed away. I'd never worked with him.
He passed away not so long ago.
Yeah, I never worked with him, but I'm always a fan of his work, obviously Goodfellas. But one of the movies I really love, man, was Unlawful Entry. I was watching it last night, and I love that movie. And it was parts of that movie I remember before I was even thinking about acting. Bro, I wasn't even thinking about acting. I just love this dude's performance.
Yeah.
But one of the things that was so great about it was how it's literally about this crazy cop that falls in love with this dude's wife and wreaks havoc. It's a psychological thriller, wreaks havoc. But man, the way Ray Liotta played this character, man, it was just, he was rotten. He was terrible. He was a terrible, terrible cop. But he played it so cold, man. Yeah. And it was just, and that, you know, those are the type of things I feel like have kind of seasoned me over the years. Like just even before I started doing this professionally, it was like watching actors do things. I was watching Sidney Poitier, and I was just telling my wife this earlier. I was like, it's crazy. He had this movie called Shoot to Kill with Tom Berenger and Kirstie Alley.
Yes. Right.
Old school movie, man. Yeah. I remember watching the movie when I was younger, not knowing I was watching Sidney Poitier. Like, I'm like, oh, snap, that was Sidney Poitier in there, man. I love that movie, man. It wasn't even a movie a kid my age should have been that into, but it's one of the movies that when you got HBO or Showtime, probably come on at 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and as a kid, you just watch it. And back then, it would probably come on about that same time every day. And but just to think I was watching this incredible actor, not knowing that that's what I would do, not knowing how big of an influence he would be on me, and not knowing that his book would influence me the way, his autobiography would influence me the way. I was just watching it as a dude, as a kid, that, man, it's a good movie, not knowing who the hell Sidney Poitier was.
And that stuff sticks with you. Even, dude. Yeah, so it's like when you are sitting down and you're breaking down this character, those things kind of they kind of make their way to the front of your brain. Like, oh, I did kind of say I want to kind of explore it like this, and so that's dope. Oh, for Duplicity, I gotta give my uncle a shout out. So my uncle was an extra.
Okay,
my uncle Alonzo, and there was a scene when you go to the house. I think it's the repass. You're going to the house to the repass, and it's like, hey man, you need to get out of here. You need to go, whatever. Get out. She's telling you to get out. Yeah. You turn around to get out, and my uncle's sitting there watching you get out. And it's all black. He's just with his glasses and stuff on. Yeah,
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like that's my Uncle Alonzo, man. Shout out Uncle Alonzo.
Yeah, I think I remember that. I had to look at that. Look at that clip again.
Yeah.
I remember that scene.
It was amazing. I was like, look at my uncle, man.
Yeah.
Because, which is crazy. So back in the day when my uncle was a lot younger, he really wanted to be an actor.
Yeah.
My grandfather kind of talked him out of it because at that time, in the early 80s, he didn't really see.
You want to do what?
Right, exactly. So he ended up going to the military.
Okay.
You know, he actually did really well, retired. Now he's doing like acting and stuff from time to time. But when I started acting, people were asking me like, well, why don't you just start working here? You can make your way up. And my uncle was one of the ones that tell me like, bro, this job will always be here. Yeah. If acting is what you want to do, you go and you pursue that. I love it. You know what I mean? I would ask you, when it comes to young people who are looking forward to get into the arts, to pursuing acting, especially in the world of streaming, AI, you don't know what it's going to be between now and whenever. What do you tell them to be encouraged? Or what route to take?
It's tough, man. I keep it a buck. I'm not the dude, you know. I tell anybody. I do what I do. Clearly, this is what every time I've tried to even remotely walk away from this, God be like, no. Remember we talked about this. This was the agreement, so come on back. Yeah. But it's definitely times I'm like, oh God, you know, because I said this once before, like. When you set out to be an actor, let me tell you what I was never thinking about. I was never thinking about having a wife, never thinking about having kids, never thinking about people looking at me like, Daddy, what you nothing. I just like, I want to act, you know, and it's a very, you know, it's a very selfish, you know, it can be. I'm not gonna say it is. It can be, depending on how you manage it. But yeah, man, it's funny now that my kids are getting older and they friends are discovering that I'm an actor. Literally just the other day, one of my kids, my oldest, his son, his friend wants to get in the industry. Yeah. And so his mom calls my wife and it's like, hey, we'd love to chat with your husband. She never told her what it was about. So my wife was like, Lord, what did our son do? And I was like, let's just relax. Let's just get all the information first. And so I talked to her, and lo and behold, he wants to get into the industry. So she had a couple of places that were, you know, obviously you pay and she wanted to know my thoughts. And I said, I got no problems. Please send me the information. I hit her up the next day and told her what between these three, what I would pick. And I also provided her with a couple of options. And Catapult was one of them. They got a summer camp that anybody that's been to Catapult trying to do self-tape during the summer, Catapult ain't got no slots because they got a really good summer camp. My kids have been interested in going. So, you know, I direct them that way. It's funny because she was telling me that this young man's father isn't super supportive. And I specifically said to her one day, she was coming over to pick him up. I said, good for you, because it's not often easy to support your kids in a way, especially if you as a parent, that wasn't how you, like, if you went to college and got your degree and now you work here and this was your money and this your 401k and you can, you know, at this age you retiring, it's hard to really support your kid down a path where, like, listen, all this stuff, you gotta figure out a lot of this shit on your own. And so, for me, my kids, every now and then they'll say they kind of want to do, especially my youngest. And I'm like, I don't want to have no parts of it. I really don't. Yeah. I keep it 100. But then on the same token, I know I literally was playing golf with a dude about 6 months ago, and he had lost his job. This dude I think he started at Georgia Tech, got a degree in engineering, didn't like that field, went back, got another degree from Emory. And here this dude out here playing golf with me. And I remember looking at him going, bruh, like, if there's one thing I get from you is that you smart as hell. Yeah. Like, how in the world are you unemployed? Because I said this. I said, bruh, if you unemployed, I ain't got a shot. You hear me? I ain't got a shot like in hell. Yeah. So and the amount of time I would call this dude up to play golf, and he'd be like, yeah, man, I can play. And we played for about 2 or 3 weeks. Still hadn't found a job. Finally, one day I called him up, and he said, nah, man, actually, I got a job. And I was like, well, dude, good for you. Right. Because all the degrees you got, and it just blew my mind. So I say that to say it's a gamble any way you go. Because here a dude probably got, I don't know how much money in degrees. And this dude, he was struggling. Yeah. And so, I think it's something to be said about chasing your dreams and doing what you want to do. Now, listen, if any of my kids want to get into this industry, anybody that I know, now I tell them there's a way to do it. I feel like there's a right way to do it and there's a wrong way to do it. I feel like I did it the wrong way. Okay. My daddy gave me $150. He gave me a watch and he gave me some sunglasses. Yeah, he said, you're going to need some spending money. I need you to be on time for all your meetings. And he said, it's sunny in Cali. So he gave me these Kinder Cole sunglasses. Started crying, bawling.
The basic necessities.
Yeah, we sitting up there in the foyer of the house and he just holding me, I'm crying. It's a beautiful, beautiful moment. Me and my daddy has shared some beautiful moments. That was one of them. But that's how I went out there, bro. That's how I went out there. And I can remember doing this like a commercial spec with this dude. And I'll never forget it, man. But his dad had invested in a A&W root beer stand on Venice Beach. And he basically hired staff to run that A&W root beer stand while he pursued acting. He's the first actor I ever met, second actor I ever met that bought a house. Because in LA, houses is crazy expensive. And so as actors, most of us just rented apartments, townhouses. But when you met an actor that bought a house, it's like, oh shit, you bought a house.
Yeah,
like
you doing all right.
Wow.
Yeah.
And he was the first one, like the second dude that I say this, the dude that bought the house that I met, he was blowing up. But the other dude, like he was a working act. Like you wouldn't know this dude. You would know the other dude.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know this dude, but he owned a house. And I thought, I think he went to Duke. And I just remember thinking, that's how you come out here. Like if my kids want to do it, there's got to be a way where you do it, where you're positioning yourself. Like you got to have a way where you can make money here. Life doesn't have to be on hold. You can get married if you want to. You can have kids if you want to, right? You don't have to defer any of that. None of that has to take a back seat to the dream that you're chasing. But you gotta build it that way, right?
Yeah.
Because just going to LA or waking up one day and saying, I want to be an actor, that's not what I want for my kids. I ain't saying it don't work. I'm just saying that's not what I want for my kids. Right. That level of uncertainty. I want to make sure that they can always provide for themselves, provide for their kids, for their families, and C is very important. I don't want them jokers feeling like they can stay in my pocket. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. You can go be an actor if you want to. I'm going to do you like my parents did me. I'm going to stake you for a year after that, homeboy.
Yo.
Figure it out.
Yeah. Man, dude, there's so much more I want to talk about, brother.
You good? Y'all got it. Okay, sure.
Yeah, there's so much more I want to talk about. But I am going to go through a Q&A. I go through some questions.
Get it.
Gosh, there's so much more I want to talk about. But
listen,
it's all good.
You got my man. Listen, this family, family right here. I ain't gonna say no name because he incognito like a mug, but that's family right there.
I know.
So bro, I ain't going no place. I'm in Atlanta, bro. I'm in Atlanta.
So we definitely gonna do this. We definitely gonna do it again. Yeah. But before we do,
go ahead.
There's a list of questions that I like to ask all the guests. James Lipton used to do it all the time in Inside the Actor Studio.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Okay. And I always thought that was dope. So I was like, let me just go through this. RonReaco.
Yes.
What's your favorite word?
My favorite word?
Yeah, what's your favorite word?
Oh, God, what do I say a lot? That's something you probably should ask somebody else. My favorite word, I probably cut. Oh, God, man. What's my favorite word? I probably cuss a lot. I probably say shit a lot.
Shit. Okay, cool. That's good.
I think so. I don't know. That's something you had to ask. Like,
hey man, shit is a good word.
I think so.
You can use it in so many different ways.
I think so.
And it fits.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I may come back to that. But I think that's the one that popped in my head. Okay, next.
What's your least favorite word?
No.
Fair.
Hey,
no. I'm gonna say pause before this. What are your turn-ons? That could be anything, bro. It don't gotta be what people may think it is. Nasty ass people.
My turn-ons. As an artist, there's a level of excitement that I get, man, when I read good writing.
Yeah.
Like it's like if somebody writes something and it's good, my brain will pick it up like that. Mm-hmm. It's amazing. I'm like, oh, I got that. That's good writing. Yeah. If somebody writes it in a way where my brain is just like,
it's like a glitch.
It's like, dude. It's like, man, my brain is like,
yeah.
Good writing, man. When I read something that's good, it's like, whoo. Yeah. I come upstairs, my office is downstairs. I come upstairs. I look at my wife and say, I like this one. Oh, you like this one? I said, I like this one. Yeah.
Turn offs. Probably the opposite, bad writing.
No. Well, yeah, that goes without saying. But I give you something. Turn offs for me are just mean people.
Yeah.
You know, people that are mean to people is just nothing rubs me the wrong way than watching somebody treat somebody else.
Yeah.
Like shit is one of my favorite words. Yeah. I can't stand that.
Yeah. I hate bullies. I
can't stand it. Yeah. It's a no-go for me.
Yeah. I think I already know the answer to this question, but what's your favorite curse word?
That's right. That's shit. As I go, oh shit. And that's really my daddy, man. If you ever around my dad, man, my daddy is shit, man. Yeah. My dad was doing that before. What's his name? Isaiah Whitlock was doing it on The Wire. My daddy was a shit. That was my daddy all day. Still is.
Yeah. What is your favorite sound?
Favorite sound. So people, I'm starting to get more comfortable. People, my wife always on me. People on me about like, be more on social media. So recently, my son started playing trumpet, but my mother, in her infinite wisdom, had me taking piano lessons and drum lessons. And so I've been taking piano lessons as a kid, junior high school. So I've always dabbled with piano. It's just a private thing. But I posted something the other day, and people was like, about a month ago, people was like, oh, wow, you play? Just my own private thing. But what's your question? What sounds good
What's
to
your
me?
favorite sound? Your favorite sound, yeah.
There's a chord that I've been hitting and I love it. I think it's in, you know what it is? I'm going to tell you where that chord is. Jill Scott got a new CD
New album. Yep. I've already listened to it. Yep.
If y'all have not listened to this album, Jill Scott is somebody that I like to think is a friend of mine. She's a co-star on the show I did. And Jill played some of this album for me back while we were still filming. One of the most fire albums I've heard in a long time. But she got a song on there called The Math, and there is a chord in that it just sounds good to me. And a real musician could tell you exactly what it was.
Yeah.
But it's like a it's like a F minor 7, I think is what it is.
That glitch. Now I got
I think it is. It would take one of my homeboys that really played it, be like, no, it's not an F minor 7. It's actually you're raising the 9 to a 13. It's all this other stuff. Yeah. But for me, that when I hit that chord, it's also in Total Praise. It took Richard Smallwood passing away for me to learn how to play Total Praise, one of my favorite songs. Yeah. But it's also in Total Praise to the same chord structure. And I love it.
Got you. Your least favorite sound?
High-pitched squealing. Like if you eating something and it's good and you get to the plate and you still cutting that right there.
Yeah. That's like styrofoam to me.
Man,
like,
listen, chalkboard, them type of sounds.
Okay. If you weren't in entertainment at all, what profession would you pursue? I think you might have touched on it earlier today, but it would definitely be with kids. I think before I started working at a daycare, man, when I was a kid, you had a sofa. I used to always use popsicle sticks. I used to build these elaborate compounds with these popsicle houses, and I had a dope little way of doing it. I'd start with my foundation, then I would, build it up, and then I would do a couple like these little things, and then I make a roof, and then I lay popsicle. Man, I had a whole, but I would build these towers. But I would take them popsicle sticks and I would lift up the sofa couch, and I would work on them. I was a mechanic. I work on my car. I had all my popsicle sticks, my socket wrenches and socket sets, and I'd be in there working on my car. That was my thing. I used to want to be a mechanic. Yeah, man, I got a whole apartment complex.
Don't touch that, man. I'm trying to rebuild this carburetor. I got to get this done for Eddie. Eddie's be about to pick up his car.
What profession would you never want to try out?
That I would never. And I'm like, ooh, man, I don't want to. I think, and listen, cats that do it, and I ain't knocking anybody, but construction, man, construction, and I drive past them cats in the summer, and I'm just like, man, God bless them. Especially when they out here working with asphalt. In Georgia, and it's like you can't wear shorts, like you can't wear like you gotta wear like heavy duty ass work clothes. Yeah, and you doing that. I just, man, that would be one I would be like.
I never want to be the boot man.
I'd be the boot man if I'm out there.
For real?
Yeah, man, I'd be the boot man. I got thick skin. Call me whatever you want. Hit me with that 75. Hit me with that 75. Yeah. I just saw Desi Banks did that video. I don't know if it's old or new.
Oh, yeah, I did.
Hit me with that 75. Hit me with that 75. Call me. I'll do whatever you want to say. It ain't going to get your car unbooted.
Right. Do you have a guilty pleasure?
Yeah, we all got guilty pleasures. Probably my biggest one. Most people tell you fruit snacks. Welch's fruit snacks. Yeah. I'm trying to get them out of my life as I get older, and I got to be more responsible. But I remember saying this on an interview once. At Welch's sent me this big ass basket. Don't nobody send me no Welch's fruit snacks. I'm really trying to clean my life. I just bought a crazy ass expensive juicer. Oh yeah. I'm about to start juicing. Me and the wife about to start juicing tomorrow. Yeah. So she went and bought a bunch of stuff from H Mart. We about to start juicing. But yeah, Welch's. Anybody that's been on set with me know, especially in wardrobe, because they go through my clothes
and they be all in your pockets.
Good God, RonReaco. Yeah, man. I tell Kraft, no, buy them Welch's. You can buy Mott's, you can buy organic, and you can buy all them other ones. You ain't got to worry about it. But you buy some Welch's. That's a problem.
What is there a place that you've never visited that you would love to visit?
Greece. I think I'm trying to go. I think I may go. My wife will take me for my birthday this year. I got a big birthday coming up. I won't talk about it.
August coming up, man. Come on.
But I ain't talking about it. I got a big birthday coming up, And I think we're going to Greece.
You do got a big birthday coming up. Hey, man.
So,
happy early birthday.
Happy
early birthday. Look.
Talk about something else.
Right. See, I know how big it is.
I'm about to get to a place where I'm embracing. I saw somebody on the cover of a magazine today, and it's Judy Reyes. I don't know her. I'm a fan of her work. She was on Scrubs, and I loved her on Claw. I think it was Claws. And it said she was 57 or 58. I'm sorry, Judy, I'm putting your business out there like that, but you did the magazine. And as I was leaving Publix, I saw it. I'm like, man, I know this woman ain't no 57, 58 years old. Picked up the magazine, every bit of 57, 58 because it said it. Not because she looked it. And I thought, damn, I said, one day that's how people are going to be about me. I'm going to be on some magazine.
You don't even be like 30, bro.
How old is he? They had me audition for something the other day. And I'm like, I know I'm too young for this. But I just love the part so much. I love the part. So I at some point, I'm going to it's going to catch up with me. And all these older roles that I've been dying to play. I think that's why I like Fight Night so much. Because Fight Night let me tap into my old uncle. Like them old uncles that, I love that character. And they let me do that. Like that wasn't nothing where I auditioned. It was like, yeah, let's do it. Like that was me. Like I'm gonna try this and see what they say.
Senator Johnson,
dude, I was so happy. I mean, because really, you can do a table read. It's a virtual table read, so you can do a table read. But I was
on the table read. I was one of the readers.
Sure was.
I was one of the readers on the table read,
bro. I forgot you. It was so many people. You were. Yeah. Boy, I was so nervous because it wasn't like sometimes I ain't gonna say I like auditioning because I don't like auditioning. But what I do, I would love to get to a place in my career where instead of having to just do a traditional audition, hi, my name's RonReaco, I'm reading for the part. It's like a thing where it's like, hey man, we're interested in you. Just come in and let's me, you, and you gonna read with me, and then we just gonna work through it. I love that. I do that all day. I'd rather do that because there's nothing more nerve-wracking than to work on a character. And then you walk in the room and it's kind of like, that ain't what we saw. Yeah. I do not want that at all. So that was one of them situations where I was like, I'll see what they say. Yeah. And it worked out. But, we've all done table reads where the people that was at the table read ain't always the people that's there when you shoot. Because
it was in that project was such a classic project. Yeah, like the cast was crazy. Oh, bro. I felt like it was a modern day. I feel like it was a modern day Harlem Nights.
Yeah, to me. It was. Yeah, it was, dude. Being on that set was, I didn't know what to expect. I can remember, my first scene was with Don Cheadle. Yeah. And they did some rewrites right there on the spot. I just remember looking, going, oh shit, okay. And I took out my mini sides and I started to write. And then that's it. I was like, you know what? This is not going to work. So I took out my phone and I took a picture of it and then went over. But I felt like even Will Packer, I think that was my first time working for Will Packer. I'd known him for years. But I think they knew in that moment, like, I'm going to ride with y'all. Like, if y'all want to make some changes, like, I get it. It's cool. I'm going to.
You're a chameleon. I can adapt to whatever I need to adapt to.
Yeah. And so we knocked it out. That was my first scene. I think I had a scene with Kevin, Terrence, Sam Jackson was in that scene. I feel like David Banner wasn't in that scene. But I had worked with David. Me and David probably done like 3 or 4 movies together. But what happened was, and they'll do this, right? I thought I had time before that scene. It was one of those ways. It's like, no, come on, we're gonna do it now. And so I was kind of thrown into it. So it took me a minute to kind of catch. Like I was like, damn, it's like it's like double dutch, man. I couldn't quite get my rhythm. And then I don't know what happened, man. Something happened, and I just was like, "Oh, there it is," and we was good to go. I feel like because what happens when you get into a situation like that too, and this is good for actors to know, especially when you're know your position. Where are you at on the court? What's your job? What's your position? And when you get with big actors, like big actors don't have to say any of the. If they don't want to say a line, they ain't saying it. And so what ends up happening is they're going to change their lines, right? And so as they change their lines, you have to be mindful if it affects your performance, if it affects your lines. Right. And so that's what was happening. So as, Sam and Kevin was kind of figuring out what they were going to say, it just changed some of the things for me.
Yeah.
And so that's why I was having trouble. I was like, why am I having trouble? And then I realized, oh, they changed a couple things. And so then now my position becomes, let me set up over here because I got to hit him when he come off this screen.
It's almost like a butterfly effect kind of thing. You go back, you're changing this and that. Now that changed my whole approach to this thing.
Because they shit gonna if they want they shit changed,
it's gonna change.
It's gonna change.
It's gonna change.
And so then you have to figure out very quickly, what does that mean for you and your character? And that happened a couple times on that set, because you had actors that was like, it wasn't like me or you being on set and they'd be like, these are the lines, say the lines. Right. They would be like, I feel like it's this and that. And Don would sit down and work through it and every time elevated to become something that to me was better. But yeah, man, that was one of them. That was definitely one of them ones, bro. One of them shows that.
Last question.
Last question. Okay.
Yeah. When you reach the pearly gates, what do you want God to say to you?
Oh wow, dang! Ain't nobody ever asked me that.
Got deep. Look at
it. Got deep. No, I think I just want to hear that that I lived the life that I was supposed to live. I think that I want God to say you walked in your purpose. I think that's what I've struggled with. It actually strikes an emotional chord with me. That's what I would want to hear, because I think it's been so many times I've tried to I don't want to do this. I don't want, what I mean? A lot of things I just, people put in my ear and I don't want to hear it. But I think that's one of the main things. I just want to know that I'm in my purpose. And there's moments where I definitely feel like it. Yeah. When I'm here and a place like this where, this will reach, young artists that's trying to get into business, or artists that have been in the business, and maybe I've gotten those phone calls, like, and cats that I can say to this day that are working on shows, and when I see them, I can be like, dog, remember when you called me and we had that? And so I do think that's part of my journey, is not just to be an actor that, waits for the phone to ring. It's gonna be somebody that gets out there and interacts, man. I think I was really blessed with that ability. The fact that I can remember names, the fact that I do care. I want to know who, the best boy Gaffrey. I want to know all of these things. And you realize that it's not a lot of people in our industry that care like that. Nope. And this is just the way God made me. So it ain't like I'm doing it for show.
It's genuine.
It's just, this is who I am. When I saw, it touched my heart, man, to see Dawn Halfkenny on this show talking to you, and to see people, to hear how she was speaking, and then to hear you come right in. It's like, it's just a good feeling. Like, it means that, like, when I'm on set and I'm in this world, man, it makes me feel good to know that I'm making a difference, because clearly people have bad experiences with people in this industry. And the amount of people that come up to me and they ask for a picture and they go, thank you for being so nice. And I'm just like, sometimes I'm just like, yo, what have y'all experienced?
Right.
Because clearly I am not the norm. And I pray that, how I move around Atlanta and wherever I'm at, I pray that becomes the norm. Because here's the thing, and I tell people this all the time: the minute y'all stop coming up to me and asking me for pictures, I got a problem. Got a real problem at that point.
Well, man, RonReaco, I really appreciate you coming out doing this, man. You, like I said, you've always been a very stand-up guy.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
You have an amazing career. God has been blessing you in ways, and he's nowhere near done. You know what I mean? With everything that he has for you, brother.
Thank you, man. I received that.
I admire you as an artist, as a father, as a husband. The way you carry yourself on set, I kind of look at that and I'm like, man, I need to be that way as well.
Oh, that's lovely.
And it's very encouraging knowing that there's people in this industry that really do have good hearts and really do want to see you win and really do want to be there for you if you need their help. So I just thank you, brother. I appreciate you, brother. And thank you for joning us in the background.
Hell yes. Happy to be here, man. This was great. Anytime, let me know.
Yes, sir. Oh, you coming back?
I'm coming back. Yeah.
All right. Sound good.
Appreciate you, Larry.
All right, man. Yeah.